Oh, I got a joke for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this a Buffalo joke?
No, it's a knock-knock joke. Okay, say knock-knock.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to start it.
That's the joke.
Hey everyone, welcome to the LifenGeer podcast, where truth leads to joy and adventure. I'm your host, Justin, and I'm here, as always, with Mr. Kevin Geer.
Hey, Justin, good to see you in this
see
summer season of life.
I love it.
I'm loving it.
It's nice and warm outside. My kids are playing outside in the pool, on the patio.
Nice.
Oh, man, they already put a hole in the bottom of it.
Of course. That's what pools are for.
We used it 1 year. Well, not 1 year. We used it last year for the first time. We pull it out, and the first day it gets a hole in it. But it's not too bad. My wife's like, I can patch it.
There you go.
I was like,
I always buy the plastic ones.
Yeah. We
call
just bought like the Target one, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it was last year.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a good summer plan coming up? Do you have a vacation you're going on? Aren't you going somewhere?
In September, we're going to Vegas to see Ed Sheeran play in concert. So very excited about that.
Do you know that I don't know who Ed Sheeran is?
You've got to be joking me,
don't.
Kevin.
I couldn't tell you one song that he sings. Does he sing?
Yes, he sings.
Okay, I couldn't tell you what. I thought maybe he's a pianist. I don't know. Ed Sheeran. I've heard the name, but I don't know what he does.
Do you see me as someone who just goes watch pianists play all the time? Is that how you view me?
No, I just was like, I don't know what he does. Is he part of you two?
Oh my gosh. We got to show him some stuff sometime. He's really good. He's very, 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 very famous.
So one of the things that's very interesting, and I know this is a handicap in my life, I don't know pulp culture well at all.
Or pop culture.
Pulp.
What is this? Orange juice?
Pulp Fiction.
Ain't got enough pulp around here.
Pulp Fiction. I just used pop culture from the 80s.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny.
It's probably a movie he's never even watched before.
I couldn't. No, it made it hard. I don't know. I got a funny story here. This is funny. So we have in Kalispell one of the best communicators, pastors who travels all over the place, and he is phenomenal. Leva Lesko is phenomenal at using pop culture.
Yeah.
And so our youth pastors went to observe the weekend, see what we can grow, how we can learn from them. And they came in, they're meeting with me, and they go, we compared you and Levi in your communications, and he has all the pop culture and says it so well. And then you're like, I had a colonoscopy, colonoscopy, which I just and we were laughing so hard at the different ways of communicating. But I'm not a pulp culture guy. I don't know.
It's still pop.
Pop culture. Did I say pulp?
You're kind of almost going with between pulp and pup.
I think you guys are making fun of my accent.
You don't have an accent.
Shoot, I was hoping that would get me off. So, anyways, a lot of fun. So I don't know Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, no, it's okay. He's very famous. In fact,
name one song that he sings, and I'll see if
Shape
I know
of You.
I may have heard of that one.
Okay, that's a very popular. It's maybe his most streamed song.
Okay, how's it go? Sing it a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Oh shoot, that would have been hilarious.
No. No, so we're doing that.
Everyone who's listening to the podcast is wanting you to try just a little bit. Would you just sing two notes? Shape of You.
Just the instrumental part, the intro.
The song, yeah. How's it go?
No, let's just keep moving on.
Oh, you're disappointing our listeners. Come on.
I'm in love with the Shape of You.
What weird.
It's a spoken word.
It's my spoken word version.
Oh, I'm in love with the shape of you.
You're about to head out.
I'm working on my shape.
You're heading out. You're heading out.
Good transition. I'm heading to the Rubicon, and by the time you're listening to this podcast, I will have just accomplished driving. So my our next podcast, August.
You'll be
edition,
gone.
Yeah.
When this comes out.
I'll be just getting back. I get back. I'll be just getting back.
Yeah.
It's going to be an epic trip. We're heading over to Tanya's going. We have about 9 rigs that are going. With long finger point there. You're invited.
Yeah.
We're driving over to Oregon. We're doing several Jeep trails in Oregon.
Yeah.
And then we're driving the 101 all the way down the coast into California. camping in the redwoods, and
that's
then
cool.
one campsite cost $300 for one night.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah. It was a group campsite.
So what kidney did you sell to pay for this trip?
No, but we're all dividing it, so it's
Right.
like $45 a trailer, and then we're going to the Rubicon. It's gonna be phenomenal, and then we'll drive all the way home.
Dude.
So it's about 11.
So how long will it take you to go on the Rubicon Trail? Is that
3
just
days. Most people can do it
Whoa,
in 2, but
it's a 3-day trail?
But yeah, it's a 3-day trail. It's a
So this is
2-day
like-
trail. We're gonna go slow and enjoy it, so it'll take about 3 days for us.
So this is like a long trail for like jeeping.
Yeah, it is. It's the hardest. It's considered like on a scale from 1 to 10 is the ratio. It's a 9 on the scale from 1 to 10 difficulty.
Dang.
Yeah, we will come back with body damage on our Jeeps.
Ooh.
It's gonna be painful.
That's going to be fun. You're going to make sure you get your badge for this one. Right?
Absolutely. If you look at the side of my Jeep, I have all kinds of badges.
I was looking at it. Those.
And we're gonna have a great time with everyone who's going. We have a very great, sharp group. There's very gifted people in it that know how to do things. We're just gonna have a blast.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. It's cool.
That's my summer plan.
But we got a fun topic you want to talk about.
But you know what? I love this topic. It's one of the ways that I live life. It's one of the ways that I see people, and it's one of the ways I think we all need to see people. And when you do, you live a happier life. You live life with more joy and adventure. And it is emphasis on the adventure when you see people from this perspective.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about how are you saying, I'm trying to figure out the actual verbiage. I can't remember exactly how I say it, but how do we see everyone is a 10?
Yeah, everyone is a 10. What do I mean by a 10? And are we talking about looks? Nah, some people are not 10s, but I'm just having fun there.
I'm just having fun here.
I just know. Everyone, you need to, the goal of this whole podcast is that we look at everyone, maybe the person you're working out with next to you right now, or the person that just caught you off in traffic, or everyone is a 10.
Yeah.
In one way or the other. And the goal is to see people as a 10.
So true.
Yeah.
So how do you want to start this?
Well, I think let's start with the number one reason. Why is everyone a 10? I come back to the point number one, and that is we're created by God. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, the psalmist says.
Yeah.
That God knew us and knit us together in the womb. That each person is born with a purpose. Here's the deal. One of the things I always want to do is I want to have the same perspective that God has.
Yeah.
So however God sees something, I want to see it that way.
Yeah.
And God saw people as a 10 so much that he sent his son, Jesus, that I want to see people that way. That everyone is worth dying for.
Yeah.
And when you have that frame of reference, number one, you got to start right there. When you have the frame of reference that even that person that annoys me, God loves them in Christ, how should I see them? Should I see them different than God? No.
Yeah.
And so that's the birth of this in my heart. I want to see everyone the way God sees them. That's number one, right?
Yeah. So we have to understand that we were created by God. So being created by God makes us a 10.
And he loves us in Jesus. So he loves everyone. Why should? I have no excuse not to.
Yeah.
If I want to have a heart like my Father
Yeah.
in heaven. So that's number one for me. I think we start there. That's the theological base if you wanted one. I think the second one is, and I think this helps, how do you get there then?
Yeah.
So the rest of these, the next 7 are, how do I get into a place that I can view people as a 10? Because honestly, there's some people that I view as a -4, and I want to extinguish them.
Wow.
Now, that's pretty dramatic.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Because we can get so much frustration, or and this topic stirs up a lot of emotion in people as they hear it, because there's just people that are scumbags that you don't want to look at that way.
Right.
And that's part of this journey.
So speaking
Go
of
back
that,
to the last podcast a couple months ago when we talked about how to forgive is a good process of getting there.
so you're saying that everyone, no matter what they've done, is a 10. No matter what the sin, no matter how evil we would perceive them, you're saying that they're a 10.
I'm saying I'm going to view them as a 10 regardless of what their number is. Because God sees them through Jesus, who's perfection.
That's so good.
So my goal is not to label you a number.
Yeah.
I see you as a 10. 10 potential, 10 is.
Yeah.
And I have to look at it that way, which will guard my heart from hurt and pain.
So we have to see their story.
Yeah, well, that's number 2 is exactly right. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story. And there is more to what I am seeing.
Yeah.
Not everyone acts like a 10.
Yeah. That's fair.
My job is not to judge.
We don't act like a 10 all the time.
No. But Jesus sees me as a 10,
Yeah.
loves me as a 10, and I have to have that attitude.
Yeah.
And so I have found in my life, I'm just going to view people as a 10. And everybody has a story. When everybody has a story, it creates within me a desire to know their story more because there is always more going on than what I see.
Yeah.
When someone cuts me off in traffic, I can say, they're a jerk for cutting me off in traffic. Well, maybe their son just got in a car accident and they're on their way to go see their son at the hospital. There's more to the story.
Yeah.
There's always more to the story than what we see.
Yeah.
And so that helps me understand that. This perspective shifts your default perspective from judging, here it is, to curiosity.
That's good.
If I see everybody's a 10 and I know that they have a more to the story than I see, instead of me being judgy of who they are, what if I developed a curiosity to understand them more?
Yeah.
And so I move from condemning to curiosity to know.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Who
Yeah.
are you? That's why I think it's so important in my heart to realize everyone has a story.
That's that reminds me of a guy that I met here at the church actually, and he's special needs, and just the tender-hearted, like the most tender-hearted guy you'd meet, comes up, shakes my hand, talks to me and stuff, and you just, whether it's on purpose or not, you always, when you meet someone with special needs, there's always kind of a judgment there, like what you're talking about. And I remember one time he called the church, and I answered the phone. And he said, he remembered who I was and stuff. He's like, bless you. He's like, can I pray for you? He prayed one of the most powerful prayers I've ever heard. And he was speaking to things that were going on in my life and just praying over me.
Come on.
And just, it was miraculous. And I got off the phone and I was like, who am I to judge anyone?
Yeah.
And it's a prayer that I remember. And that was probably a year and a half ago.
The heart of judgment or the heart of curiosity. I want to be interested in people to know their story more than be quick to judge them and label them.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
And that's why you see everyone as a 10. I think that leads to your story leads to number 3, Justin, so well. Everyone has a purpose.
That's good.
Everyone has a purpose.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes when you view people as a 10, you're willing to help them find their purpose.
That's good. Yeah.
I'll give you an illustration on how I was a children's pastor for a lot of years. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, I tell people. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I was a children's pastor a lot of years. And
sometimes you wish you still were here.
you know what? Actually, I still think I am. I just act like a children's pastor.
Yeah.
In fact, this past week, I talked. I was talking about in preaching, and I talked about how you look concerned. I talked about how Jesus was fully human, and that means he farted.
Yeah.
And I said, Jesus turned over to Peter and said, pull my finger. That ticked off some people. But the aspect, that's a kid's pastor move right there.
They were like, not my Jesus.
My Jesus never farted. Okay, so moving on here, people are like, whatever.
So everyone has a purpose.
Everyone has a purpose. So when I was a children's pastor, you have to recruit. You have to get people to sign up.
Yeah.
And so one of the principles that I had in my mind was everyone's a 10. So when I would go to recruit, I would always go, okay, I want to recruit the best of the best. Now, this is an important statement. Not everybody is a 10 at everything. Okay, that's important.
That's valid.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Not everyone's a 10 in everything. No one's a 10 at everything. And so I would say is, I would ask myself when I was recruiting, not who would fill this role, but who would be the best in this role.
Okay.
And then I would go to the people who I considered to be a 10.
Yeah.
And then I'd get a no.
Yeah.
And then I'd go to the 9, and then I'd get a no, and then I'd go to 8, and I'd get an oh. Now I know that the person on my scale who's a 1 is a guaranteed yes, because they're a yes to everything. But I am not helping them by putting them in a position where they're going to fail.
Okay.
If I see everyone as a 10, I want to recruit for their benefit as much as mine.
Yeah.
And so then you'd ask, then usually how it works is you ask an 8 and they say no, you ask a 7 and then they say no. And then the 8 calls you back and go, God's been working on me. I think I need to say yes. And then God recruited them. You didn't. They last so much longer. And but the key there is if you see everyone as a 10, then your heart becomes to help people live out their purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, is to have people live out their purpose. That's one way you love people, one way you serve people. It is because everyone has a purpose. And my job, help people find their purpose.
So you're saying there are people that, let's use kids ministry for just an example. There are 10 in kids ministry, but there are 5 in music ministry.
Oh, let's use me as an example.
Yeah.
I am a 1 when it comes to playing the drums.
I would give you a 3.
Yes.
When you did it at Christmas
Play
a few years
some
ago.
cool music for that one. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
There's your drums.
So see, you would not.
Yeah.
You are not gonna put me on the drums. I have a hard time with rhythm.
Yeah.
I am okay. This one you will say, Kevin, you are a 1.
Okay.
I am not the person you're gonna choose for a spelling bee.
Valid. Super valid.
So
Or to use the right word.
or to use exactly. I'm a 1 when it comes to phonics. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm washed up and terrible bad person.
No.
I'm going to be a 10 in other areas.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the key is to realize everyone is a 10. Well, so if you just met me and all you see me is a guy goofing around on the drums and then taking a spelling bee, you're gonna come to the wrong conclusion.
Sure.
But if you saw me as a 10, even though I was screwing up on the drums, you're gonna say he's a 10 somewhere. Where can I find it? I want people to see me that way.
Yeah.
I want people to go, there's a 10 in you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna help find it. I want to look at people that way.
So put that in perspective for day-to-day life for me. What do I need to be doing to help people find, like, am I supposed to be helping people find their purpose? Like, as I'm seeing,
I believe
what does that
so.
look for me?
I believe so. We are called to be servants.
Yeah.
To what? Serve those around us. That's love. To treat others the way I would want to be treated. Would I want someone to pursue the 10 in me? Yes. So I should pursue the 10 in others. So one of the ways that works on my daily staff here, from a leadership standpoint, I hold everybody loosely.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing for people to go to another organization if they will reach a 10. We just lost one of our staff members who I loved and was gifted and I needed him here.
Yeah.
But I saw that he could be a 10 there.
Yeah.
And so I served him by saying, I'm going to give your name over here. He wasn't even looking. I'm going to give your name over here because I can see you being a 10 there. So that's the daily, maybe in raising your children.
Yeah.
Maybe you're frustrated with your children right now because they're just messing up in school and they're messing up in this and messing up in that. You as the parent's job is to go, but son or daughter, this is where you're a 10.
Yeah.
And they may not even recognize they're a 10
Yeah.
there. Hear me right now. Everyone is a 10.
Yeah.
And we're created with a purpose. And everyone is a 10 somewhere. And our goal is to help find that.
So we should, I'm saying this as a question, but so we should hold ourselves accountable when we're interacting with people and say we're, I don't know, whatever, but we're interacting with them and we see them as something that is, hey, you're not good at what you're doing, but I can see how you could be really good at something else like that. Do we have an obligation to say?
I think relationship matters a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, an obligation means I have to say it no matter what, is how I would hear that.
Yeah.
I would say, do I have the relationship? Do I have the opportunity? In my heart, I might have to wait for the opportunity because the goal is for them to achieve the 10.
Yeah.
The goal is for me not to tell them.
Okay.
The goal is for me to help them get there. So maybe maybe if I see somebody who's a 10 somewhere, but I don't have the relationship to say it, maybe I build the relationship so I can.
Then you can do it in love.
Yeah, so you can do it in love. Yeah. There's a verse that says in Scripture, train up a child in the way they should go, and they will not depart from it.
Yeah.
When you look at the context of that verse is more about training up a child in the way they're wired, in the way they're and they will follow that wiring all the days of their life.
That's good.
We often misquote it for other reasons, but that's what it is. Train up that child in how they are uniquely created to be.
Yeah.
And they will stay within that lane. So that's the other one. We are created with a purpose.
Yeah.
And that leads me to this one, which we were just talking about. Yeah. Everyone who's a 10, everyone needs love.
Yeah.
And when you view people as a 10, it's a powerful way to love people. In fact, I wrote this down as I was contemplating it. Everyone needs love. Every day, we need to hear someone tell us, I love you. If nobody has told you that today, and you're listening to this podcast, and maybe your heart was twinged by it, an expression of love to you in the best way that I can is we are taking up time today to speak this podcast because we love you.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not in a way where it's physical, where I can give you a hug. But can this podcast be a hug to you to say, you're on our mind, and we're thinking of you as you're working out, as you're driving, or you're not as alone as you ever feel.
Yeah.
Every day, someone needs to hear, I love you. I hope I can be that voice to someone today.
Yeah, that's good.
Everyone needs to say, I love you.
That's good.
Every day, we should be saying, I love you. In fact, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't said, I love you to someone today, pause it right now and don't listen to the rest of it until you have said to someone that's human, not your dog or your cat, to someone, I love you. Give it a try.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 5 a.m. in the morning and you're like, I can't wake anybody up. Go wake up your spouse, or go wake up one of your kids, or call someone on the East Coast if you're on the West Coast.
Don't wake up your spouse.
Okay. I woke up my spouse this morning and kissed her goodbye and said, I love you. And she liked it.
Yeah.
And, but you use wisdom there. But you get my point.
Yeah. Well, I think too, even for, people that are in healthy relationships and have healthy family stuff, for one thing that we're intentional about is when we say I love you, making sure that it's not just words. We're actually meaning it, because oftentimes it's like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. We say those words a lot, but in making sure that we're being very intentional in how we're saying that.
That's very good. Slowing it down, making eye contact. Yep. Had Ed Sheeran praying in the background. Did I just do a pop culture thing?
No, it's okay. But all that said, like even this morning when I was leaving, my son came up, gave me his love you, dad. And then I just stopped and I looked at him and I said, I love you, and just those moments of making sure that
that's good.
When you say it, you mean
powerful. It. I'm going to look at my wife today and say, I love the shape of you. That's going to be good.
Keep going.
What else? Everybody needs to feel love. And I think, not just say it. And that's what you're hitting on so well, Justin, is you're not, in your family, you're not just saying it. Yeah. They're feeling what you're saying. I think that's important. And then everyone needs to show love. Yeah. So we need to say those words, but we also need to show that. When you view everyone as a 10, you are more inclined to share love and more inclined to be a recipient of love.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're feeling all alone, it might not be that you have been rejected. You need to express love more openly. And as you express love, you become more of a recipient of love. That might be a
What if you feel like that person doesn't deserve love?
Well, that's a layered question, depending on the reason why and how, and because life is complicated and life is messy and life is. So here's what you start. I go back to where the Bible says, while we were still sinners, Jesus loved us, died for us, and his expression of love was dying for our sins. I don't want to give myself excuses not to love. Every time I do, guess who loses?
That's good. I like that a lot, Kevin.
And so I'm just going to err if it's an error in loving, and I don't think I'll err.
Yeah.
So that's why I go. It leads me to the next point. You're setting me up so well, Justin, and that is everyone needs grace.
Yeah.
Everyone needs grace.
Yeah.
Here's a truth, and I wish it wasn't, but it is. Hurt people. Hurt people.
So true.
Now unpack this. You might have been hurt by a person, and probably you were hurt because they were hurting. I get emails every week that I speak, and not always the nicest emails.
Yeah.
And one of the things I tell myself, especially if someone writes a hurting email,
like an attack towards you,
personal, and I will look through that hurt because I have a choice in that moment. I can pick up the hurt and feel hurt, or I can have compassion that they're hurting.
Yeah.
That maybe I said something and I don't even know how I said it that triggered a hurt within them.
Yeah.
And hurt people. And if I want to view everyone as a 10, and again, not blinded, but on, and I'm going to look through the opportunity to pick up hurt.
Yeah.
And recognize that's coming from a hurt.
Yeah.
And if it's coming from a hurt, maybe I can help heal that hurt. Or I can put a salve on that hurt some way with kind words. So I always try to respond out of compassion. Because when you understand hurt people, you respond in compassion, not offense.
It takes patience to do that.
You know, in February of next year, 2024, our LifenGeer podcast is going to be on. I was working on it actually this week. On what love is, and the first thing love is
patient.
It requires patience. And it's kind. Okay, when you see someone as a 10, you love them.
That's good.
It requires patience. No one's perfect. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If I want people to have patience with me, I must be an extender of patience. And then I think number 6 on this, I don't know if I've been giving them numbers or not, but number 6 of this is everyone needs someone to believe in them. This is my favorite one. Out of all of these numbers, this is my favorite one right here. Everyone needs someone to believe in them. We have had many foster children in our home as we've done. And this is what we do for foster children. We believe in them. Their circumstances don't matter. Their current history doesn't matter. We will believe in them, and we will tell them we believe in them. And there is no better medicine to a broken heart and to a hardened heart than someone believing in them. And they're going to test it. And they're going to hurt you. Why? Because they're hurt. Hurt people. And you just believe in them again. You know, one of the things that we see with my own children as well, because they tested as well, is lying. And they'll lie. And then you say, you've broken my trust. And how can I believe you if you lie? But you know what? I'm going to try again. And that I'm going to believe in you again. Now, again, everything taken to extreme is wrong. But in the simple principle, I'm going to believe in you. So what that makes me is I'm going to become an opportunity creator within your life. For you to get an opportunity. That maybe would never come your way because I'm going to believe in you.
That's cool.
That's what I want to be.
I love it.
You give people. I'm working on this one. This is a work in progress for me.
Okay.
I want to be a boost giver, not a kick giver.
A boost giver?
This is what I need to do in my parenting. This is where I'm really learning in my parenting. I want to give my kids a boost to succeed. But sometimes I'm like, I want to kick them to go. And what they need is more of a gentle boost than a kick. A boost always goes further than a kick. And sometimes we think we're helping them by kicking them. But here's what I have found. A boost is usually up. A kick is usually down.
What's the go into a little bit more detail. What's the difference between a boost and a kick? Give me an example of a boost.
A person who feels boosted feels your hands on them pushing up.
Okay.
Usually a kick comes with pain.
Okay.
So you're like, you're better than this, but there's the tone of your voice is downward, like shame on you, you're better than this.
Yeah.
Where you can use the same words as a boost. You have potential.
Yeah.
So a boost, you lift up, encouraging. A kick, you're trying to motivate by putting them down. Never works.
Yeah.
Never gets you there. So that's how I look at that. It's nuanced, but it's not nuanced to the hearer.
Yeah.
One is empowering, one is deflating.
Good.
And sometimes I'm a lecture giver to my kids. I'm trying not to always be the lecturer.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm the lecturer. And sometimes my lectures come across not as a boost up, but a kick down.
Yeah.
And I'm working on that. I want to see them as a 10. Everyone is a 10. Everyone needs someone to believe in them. And when you look at everybody as a 10, you begin to believe in people. And you just naturally begin to do it. And that comes off of you. And people want to be around you.
Yeah.
Because they know how you see them.
Yeah.
Number 7, then, is needs a helping hand.
Yeah.
That's where I was talking about a opportunity creator.
Yeah.
I want to be the ones that give a helping hand. And then number 8, my last one there is, and I honestly, when I wrote this one, this was my most excited point. I loved the point about everyone needs someone to believe in them.
Yeah.
So 8.8 is me living out point 6. And that is everyone who's listened to my podcast. I want you to know that everyone is you.
Yeah.
You are a 10.
Yeah.
And someone just heard that and didn't believe it. And I just want to gently tell you, you're inaccurate. You're a 10. And maybe what you need to do is go on a discovery today to figure out, where am I a 10?
Yeah.
How can I be a 10? Because you are.
Yeah.
Everyone is a 10. And maybe you need to view yourself that way. And the reason why you have struggled is you've never viewed yourself as a 10 anywhere.
Yeah.
But I know you're a 10. You're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a 10 if you weren't listening to this podcast. And so start right there.
Yeah.
You are a 10.
Yeah.
And allow that to warm your heart. I know you're a 10 because God called you a 10 in Christ Jesus. So I'm right because I'm on saying what he said about you.
That's good.
There it is. Let me repeat them. Can I go through them one more time?
Absolutely. Do it.
Everyone's a 10, and that means we're created by God.
Yep.
It means everyone has a story. It means everyone has a purpose. Everyone needs love. Everyone needs grace. Everyone needs someone to believe in them. Everyone needs a helping hand. Everyone is you.
It's you.
You're a 10. There it is, everyone.
That's awesome. I love it. Great conversation. Love that the idea of us seeing each other as a 10 and seeing, just as importantly, ourselves as a 10.
It's empowering. It's encouraging.
Yeah.
You're going to smile more.
Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. You do not want to miss an episode, or maybe you should go back and listen to some old episodes.
Absolutely.
We got a lot of them now.
We have a history.
We do.
Boom.
I was just scrolling through. I was like, wow. I scrolled, and it just kept going. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Love it.
We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Stitcher, so be sure you're checking out our podcast. Don't forget the website as well.
And if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, that'd be fun. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
We had someone leave a comment that
YouTube, too.
On YouTube as well. Yeah. Someone left a message that said, I fall asleep listening to the LifenGeer podcast. And Kevin screamed in the last podcast. And I woke wide awake wondering what was going on. So loved that story.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm your host, Justin. And for Kevin and myself, thank you so much for listening to the LifenGeer podcast, where truth leads to joy and adventure.